Hello, Connective. Welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you don't know how I work, I pull a bunch of different cards from different decks and put them on the table. We tell a story. They tell a story and we talk about it. If you like the content, feel free to subscribe. Don't smash anything. And with that being said, let's get into this energy. So this is a general reading for Capricorn. It's Capricorn's turn. Let's see what's going on with Capricorn. These are shuffled. I think we're just going to go right into seeing if we can get some to jump out. Looking for a couple of cards from the Energy Oracle deck to talk to Capricorn today. What? This card just came out for Virgo. Attachment. And woman holding a coin. All right. So they had man holding a coin. Wow, I think we'll stop there. I could go through it one more time. Let's just make sure. Wait, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Oh, that one didn't want to. Okay, that one did. Okay. All right. Sitting on my foot. What is it? Carrying Connections is the one on the floor. Storm warning. We've seen this card before. We'll put that one here. What do we got? Wow! Man holding a heart. Okay, this is not the first reading that's looked like this. Okay? We've got man holding a heart. Wow. And then Carrying Connections, and then woman holding a coin. I'd swear last time it was like, I don't know. You know, we're going to find out what Alice the Wonderland has to say about this. We're going to move them around a little bit. Ooh, your reading is looking a little bit like Scorpio's reading. Capricorn. What's happening? Too early to tell. We're definitely working towards something here. There's some reason to be thinking and talking about storms and attachment. So, Capricorn. Let's see. Can we get Alice to talk? Give us some insight on what is going on with this reading. Slightly different. The earth signs were slightly different than the water signs. And the way too that I decided to create this row here. The other readings don't have a row on the right side. This is an earth sign thing. All right, I want at least two more Alice in Wonderland, because we only got one, right? Alice the Wonderland. So we're going to pull them off the bottom. Oh, okay. What do we got? We have, I want to be a queen. It's card number 33. It says, stating your sovereignty. Let me see. This is a colored card with white writing on it, so I need my magnifying glass. Stating your sovereignty, declaring freedom, passing a test. Okay. Yeah, well, and that's pretty much what this looks like. So we also have, we're going to put this for last. We have believe. So strange encounters. All right. So up here. And then clock time, time, pressure, and a rush. This card for me is the divine timing. It's divine timing. We could put it over here, but I'm going to leave it over here for now because they're together. So, let's see what's going on with the moon. We're going to pull the Moon Manifestation Oracle cards. I like the messages. Here, I'm going to move them a little bit. They seem to want to stick together. A lot of times with these, I'm looking for messages, but I'm also looking for like any other zodiac signs that might be involved here. So we're going to see if maybe this could be you that we're pulling if you're not a Capricorn, or Capricorn. If you're a Capricorn, we could be dealing with, you know, whoever we're getting ready to pull here. Let's see what's happening. Let's see if we can get this to jump. We'll let it go. Getting messages from this. It's a little bit different than what I'm used to. Okay. They weren't moving very well, so we're just going to cut them. So the first one is first quarter moon in Libra. Keep your heart open. New moon in Taurus. Know your worth. Wow. New moon in Pisces. Attuned to the divine. All right. Capricorn. This is the only other cards I'm going to pull for this. Usually I pull them more towards the end, or if I want more information. I do want more information, but I want to just pull this card now and get it out of the way. And I am going to, this deck is even harder to move around than those, but they're all shuffled. See if I can get one card to come out. And I will look it up and then we'll talk about it. This is like, now every card wants to get out. Come on. Okay. Okay. They all want to get away. Don't recall I've gotten that one before. Let me just take a look real quick. We'll ease into it. All right. Or we'll pass it. Okay, we have gotten this one before. Okay. All right. So the first message that I was getting, sorry. The first message that I was getting was almost kind of like, it almost seems like a minor disagreement about someone's role in the house. This is strange because I don't usually get messages like this. It does look like it's the woman. The woman wants to talk about it. You know, I'm not going to, okay, so the man holding the heart, I've said in other videos about how, to me, this card, and, you know, her too, is she's holding the coin, but to me, these cards can be interchangeable as far as the symbolism goes of what's going on. They could either be, you know, giving you their heart, or they could be taking their heart back, or they could be holding your heart for safekeeping, or they might have ripped your heart out of your chest, or you might be about to give them your heart. You know, the coin doesn't necessarily denote money. It could be, you know, sometimes we say abundance. For a lot of people, abundance is money, but abundance is resources. Abundance is a lot of things. It could be anything. So for me, in a reading like this, abundance is like, it could be anything. She could be giving anything to you. She could be taking anything away from you. She could be getting ready to give something to you, or she might, you know, that same thing that I said about this. So the fact that it's a heart and a coin, it's not too you know, detrimental to the specific message that I'm getting on this, as far as like who's holding what, or what in fact that is. But it does pretty much tell me that someone is thinking, somebody is living this relationship in a little more from like a point of view of being in love. And the other person is kind of, you know, the word I was going to censor myself on, it was like nitpicking about certain things. And again, you know, nitpicking denotes that it's not important, and it could be something that's important. I don't want to belittle anybody's, you know, feelings on anything, because when you're in a situation and you're a couple, you know, even if that person feels a certain way and they're being silly, if you, or you think they're being silly, or other people say they're being silly, you know, if you want to go ahead and go forward with that belief and kind of treat them as such, then you're going to have a little bit of a hard time dealing with that person. You're going to have a little bit of a hard time managing that person, because this situation, this type of situation, even though sometimes we feel that they're small, they're big enough to where if you don't deal with it properly, it creates other problems in your situation. So let's just pull like this one right here and like take it literally, okay? So Alice wants to be queen, right? I think it says a queen. Yeah, she wants to be a queen. So, we said stating your sovereignty, declaring freedom, passing a test. So, you know, it could be that maybe someone doesn't, maybe there's a, well, it could be male or female, who doesn't feel like the queen or the king of their castle. You know what I mean? There might be something that the other person is doing that's undermining them or belittling them. I mean, I'm just using this as an example. I do sort of see that in this card and in this card. But again, it could be about anything. It doesn't have to be about money, and it doesn't have to be a woman. And it doesn't have to be about being the king or the queen of the castle. You know what I'm saying? It could just be sometimes being the king and queen of the castle is, you know, about respect. You know what I mean? Maybe they just, it's not about being the king or the queen. It's about the fact that when decisions are made, that person's not, you know, consulted or something like that, right? Up here with the man holding the heart, we have keep your heart open. You know, again, sometimes we're hard on people because we forget how much they care about us, how much they love us. Maybe they even love us more than they stated. Maybe we didn't forget. Maybe we were never told, right? A lot of times when you deal with somebody in a situation, especially a situation where somebody's upset, you deal with them a little bit differently when you care more about them, right? You kind of, you know, you give them a little bit more leeway. Even if like wanting to be queen sounds crazy, you just, you know, you acknowledge it kind of thing, right? This believe card, strange encounters. Sometimes if you're that person that, you know, is the one that's leading more with your heart kind of thing, your heart's already open. It's always open. And sometimes people say like weird stuff. It kind of, where'd that come from? Or what does that mean? Right? I mean, even if you don't know, they're trying to tell you something, right? They're stating their opinion about something, right? Might seem like something small. You might even be getting treated a little unfairly, you know? The words might be like anywhere from slightly unkind to just downright mean. It doesn't even have to be like a huge deal, like a deal breaker. It could just be something that both people feel kind of strongly about, that's a light issue, that's not getting anywhere, right? Could even be wondering, how come we can deal with all this other stuff, but this one thing we can't agree on? Why? You know? a lot of times it's because somebody has an attachment to something that is not serving them. They're thinking about something that is more important than it actually is, and they're not keeping their heart open enough to see where the importance might lie, right? Is it worth my relationship with my significant other, this conversation, this argument, this whatever it is, right? Sometimes it just gets worse and worse because we don't know how to deal with it, or maybe we think it'll go away, or maybe we just really know that it's not bending and we're not going to bend and we hope that it goes away, right? I mean, to me, this Know Your Worth card, Capricorn, is telling me to not stand your ground, know your worth, stand your ground. I said stand your ground thinking it said stand your ground, but it says know your worth. But this is saying, like, if you have a belief in this that's very strong, well, this is telling you to tune into the divine, to connect, to kind of go within. You know, I mean, yes, knowing your worth, because sometimes when we bend in something that we really care about, we just kind of like break our own boundaries. We do it a lot of times because we might think that if we don't break our own boundaries, that other person might leave us, or, you know, at the very least there'll be conflict. You know, it'll be like a constant storm. Like I said, it depends on what it is. Like sometimes the conversation, the argument, whatever it is, it like never ends. Right? It's just the same thing all the time. Somebody might even be attached to like carrying that on with you. If you kind of go within and you just ask yourself, in this situation, am I keeping my heart open? Do I believe something that, you know, may or may not be helping me out? You know, do I just want to be queen? Right? In this situation, you'll get some answers as to whether or not you need to bend a little bit. Because knowing your worth doesn't necessarily mean, you know, standing your ground doesn't necessarily mean like my way or the highway. You know, I mean, compromise, I kind of use that word very lightly because compromise means different things to different people. You know, to some people, compromise means that we both have to agree to something that neither one of us wants. Some people believe compromise is just giving in to the other person all the time, or sometimes I give in to you and sometimes you give in to me. Like there's just no happy medium. You know, so for compromise is different for, you know, to different people, depending on whether or not they think they want to compromise and you know, what that means in whatever specific situation that we're talking about, right? You can know your worth and still compromise. You can know your worth and still give in. Knowing your worth doesn't necessarily mean putting your foot down and, you know, creating a storm of your own because you're attached to some idea that someone else isn't on board with, right? Could be anything. Could be love, could be money, could be work, love, or life. You know, caring connections could be family, it could be friends, it could be a significant other, you know. It's a general reading. And this does speak very generally. It's not, like I said, I don't see like a terrible situation on the table. Sometimes I do. But this storm warning card doesn't scare me. No, no, it's telling me that, you know, there's conflict, but not chaos. You know what I mean? The attachment, it's something normal, you know, well, for the most part. For the most part, we'll get to that because we're going to get to this. But, you know, this is like a normal level. This is like a problem that a lot of people could have or would have, that maybe it's not serious enough to force a conclusion in it, you know, especially if you believe that doing something like that is going to make it worse, you know, especially if it's more important to you to just keep your heart open. like knowing your worth and attuning to the divine, knowing that the situation, you know, will work out. I don't want to say will work itself out, but will work out, you know. So we are getting close to the end of this video. We probably got like 5 more minutes. With the cards that are on the table, that's basically the message. Oh, and besides divine timing. It'll work out, but in divine timing. Like your time, that might not be the same thing. Especially if you have attachments to something that's making this take longer. Whatever it is. It's probably a cycle, something that you have to get through. If you could get through it and do it like tactfully, you wouldn't have to revisit it. Like on any level. In other words, like it's like when you're in a relationship and you're effective at settling the disagreements, you're just effective at it. Like it never turns into a fight. It never actually becomes a storm. It's more like a weather pattern. And you can do that. You can do it better and better every single time. And you can do it about multiple things. So it doesn't have to be like, oh, I solved this problem. Now I have to do this problem. It's a totally different thing. It's going to be so hard. No, you already learned what that person's willing to do, like how reasonable everybody is, where everybody stands. You know, if it's a new situation, you talk about it, but you've already been through it once. You know how to handle it. You know how to deal with it. You keep your heart open. You definitely know your worth. Otherwise, you're just bending all the time. It's not really a two-way street. You know, you just trust your instincts on that, you know, but you also have to wait for like when it's gonna work out. Sometimes we talk about things with people and people aren't ready to, it's not ready. The person isn't either ready to hear what you're trying to say or you're not ready to say what needs to be said. I mean, all kinds of scenarios it could be here, right? Especially when you are working through something that might not be extremely serious, but might be difficult, might be hard. There might be triggers. There might be things that you're working through aside from the situation here that's making it harder. Like the situation here might not even really be that hard. It could be your attachment to whatever else you have going on in your life that's causing you to not be able to deal with this. I mean, for some of you, that's truth. And you know it. You already know what that thing is. You already know what that thing is that's in the way. You're hanging on to it. You already know the situation that's not allowing this to work out, right? Because either they want to be queen or you want to be queen. Or whatever it is, that thing that people want, right? There's Capricorn men that are like, I do not want to be a queen. I get it. But, you know, knowing what you want, knowing what you don't want, knowing what you're worth, knowing what other people are worth. I keep saying it. It's not just about you. When you're in a situation where you're with other people that you care about, it's not just about you. I mean, it can be. If this is you and this is them and this is you holding your heart out and it's them asking for money, I could see, you know, how that might be a little funky, especially if you don't like it. Some people don't mind it or they're used to it or they think that's the way it's supposed to be or that's the agreement that they made or whatever their belief system is. You know, they just kind of move through that. Some people need to renegotiate as they go along. They figure something out, or they don't like something, or they just figure out they want to be treated different, you know? And then, you know, they have to talk about it. Somebody has to agree. So this card here, this is, whoop, cards that want to get away. This card here, this is the sigil. This card has actually come out before. And this card is Transcendental Bypassing. So even if somebody wasn't spiritual or the other person that you were dealing with, if they were a Taurus, a Libra, or a Pisces, weren't spiritual, or you weren't spiritual, Capricorn, there could still be some good old-fashioned bypassing. And if not, you know, there could be some spiritual bypassing. This could be the lockup, you know. The last time I dealt with this card, I talked more about it on like a 3D level, about just like a bypassing level. Like I gave some examples of like how you spiritually bypass, but it was more of like trying to not to deal with using the 5D to not deal with the 3D. That's not the feeling that I'm getting from this card this time. The feeling that I'm getting from this card this time is that it's a very good possibility that in this situation, one of these people is having a spiritual awakening and the other one isn't. Okay. So everything that we said about the cards that are here is pretty much what we can say in general terms. Now we're going to talk specifically about one person being in a spiritual awakening and one person not. We're going to pull some more cards. We're going to pull some healing cards, and we're going to talk about the spiritual bypassing. All right. So if this is your reading, meet us in the extended. The links in the description. And if not, until we meet again.